A king. Any man with a hat, a chair, and some shithole farmstead could call himself a king. This wouldn't suit Stryker Erikson. He demanded more. This crude land or kingdom scribbled by his forebears had taken root. The time for conquest was done, the time for administration was now. He would reassemble this kingdom into an empire, much like the one they bordered, the one of the Byzantines. In theory, similar, but the laws, customs and structure of his empire would be much different. He would elevate Jarls to the status of High Jarls or King, but it would not be wise to think of them on par with the likes of the conqueror King Asbjorn I, his grandsire. Stryker would delegate the title of High Jarls to rule large plots of land with lords giving obedience to them, swearing oaths on sword, earth and salt, but also making sure they made the oaths to himself and his ancestors too, as well as swearing to the gods upon their arm rings, an unbreakable bond. Stryker would also reserve the right to hand out said arm rings once a year. Boys of noble birth would receive these rings and be declared men. Many saw this as an act of paranoia. Perhaps it was the whispers of his cousin Asbjorn and his ambitions for his crown that weighed on him heavily. Although Asbjorn himself was adult, his name carried weight, and he saw a kingdom rampant with would-be kingmakers driven by a lust for power. He implemented new laws such as the treason laws, which now made not only treason to be unthinkable and unforgivable, but it would now be unaffordable. If a lord or jarl was found guilty of treason and he were not to be unlanded, his liege would have the right to empty the guilty party's treasury. Stryker also implemented new laws on standing armies, but not levies, stating that "my lords need not of standing armies, they have my protection." But it played a dual purpose. If a jarl insisted on keeping a standing retinue, it would come at a cost filling the king's coffers, and also endearing his vassals by ensuring their protection by the crown. He also knew the value of the veiled threat. No man would threaten or test his father while he was sat in the Eternal City. Its walls thick and its monuments bathed as deeply in blood as they were history. The Colosseum, for example, he would construct something similar in the capital, glistening in a striking marble so that sunlight would bounce off its flecks. He reasoned that it would show his strength while also displaying his wealth plainly for all to see. Not only that, he had the ships of Asbjorn I, the very ones that brought his grandsire to Sapphireland, decommissioned, and laid as tables in a great hall of carved stone, a massive edifice that dominated the skyline in a western manner. Its pale grey stone glistened like water, and the carved statues of the gods on each of its 4 peaks drew crowds. It was a marvel uncommon even in Europe. The savage Northmen, or the unwashed heathens as the Western men like to call them, now held 2 of the most beautiful cities in existence. The city was insurmountably beautiful, but only a fool would take this splendour for softness, or that they had become too comfortable. They had silken garbs, yes, but they were more than often sodden with blood than clean, and any notion of softness was put to bed as you entered the throne room to see a giant of a man staring down at you. The huge structure was named the Hall of Laws. The premise was simple. Each month the Jarls and High Jarls, or their representatives, if they for some reason were not available, came to the capital to sit in a large council to discuss the matters of the realm. Stryker knew that this new realm would become too large, too vast, too wild. He could not dream to rule it all himself. He would delegate, he would give them positions of power, but they would be powerful in all but name. Stryker ruled with an iron fist. Now he placated his lords and cast an imposing shadow to enemies or would-be usurpers. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Raiders of the Adriatic, where we are now an empire led by Emperor Stryker Erikson of Sapphireland. We are currently at war with the small duchy of Makva, which did break away from Serbia before we managed to reconquer it, so this by right is part of our kingdom in the past, so we need to reclaim that, which should be pretty straightforward. It should be pretty easy. I don't think we're going to have to stress too much about it or put much effort into that. One thing I want to do is to make some of these Jarls and Dukes like us a little bit more, is to make them kings, only in name. Basically like some high Jarls, some high Dukes, just so that we can get them to like us a little bit more. We can delegate the power around the realm a little bit better as well then, which will hopefully help us keep the peace a little bit more. For example, we've got Jarl Sven over here, so we could grant him the title, the Kingdom of Sardinia. He would still remain our vassal, but it would increase his opinion of us by 8 for 50 years, which is awesome. Your vassal Jarl Sven now holds the Kingdom of Sardinia, which is basically what he held anyway, so it's not changed anything about how much power or influence it takes away from us. All it's done is make him like us a lot more, so we can't really complain about that. And we've got several of these kingdom titles to give away, such as the Jarldom of Venice. We should be able to, not grant vassal, sorry, grant him the Kingdom of Venice. He remains our vassal, and he has an 80% opinion increase of us. So then everyone, all of our main vassals, which these guys will be, should all absolutely adore us then, which should hopefully keep people well in line. What other kingdoms do we have to give away? We've got several. We've got the Kingdom of Romagna, the Kingdom of Safilan, which we will of course keep. We've got the Kingdom of Serbia, and then the rest of Jarldoms. The Jarldom of Latium we will give to our son, just as our father gave it to us. So we'll grant you the title Chiefdom of Rome. We'll give you that over chiefdom, and then the Jarldom of Latium, which is going to increase his opinion of us massively. Perfect. And then what is actually involved with this kingdom then? It's all this land here. So who else do we have in charge of these lands? We have Jarl Bjorg of Spoleto, and Duke Mordecai. So we could give that to us. Actually, I think we'll keep that kingdom title for ourselves for now. We can negotiate an alliance with our son. We'll gain 10 stress because we're shy, but it's our son. Really? Well, I don't want to take the stress then. We'll leave that for now. He's a vassal anyway, so I don't think it matters too much. Then we've got the Kingdom of Serbia. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. So it's all this land, the land that we are about to take as well. Down here, we, of course, have Jarl Ale. So his father, Harleston, must have died. When did he die? He died of old age 61, but his son is carrying on the war. I probably will give it to Jarl Ale, to be fair. And his vassals are Duke Rasputin, as well as Makva, once we take that back. I think I will give him this land, but I think we'll take back Makva first. So, perfect, yes. Let's unpause. Let's take back this land, which does belong to us. It should be ours. We are going to need a new name now for our empire as well, guys. So I have had some cool recommendations already, but I'd love to hear from more of you, and then we can decide which is the best name, see which one I like most and which I can use. But it would be cool if we could get a new nickname. Safiland's obviously just the land around the Croatian land here, but now for the empire we do need a slightly more impressive name. Right, so what have we got here? We're already sieging land down. Why are we... I know, our armies are still gathering, so we've got a little while till they gather. That's fine. It's not going to be too much trouble to take Makva at all. What other issues do we have? We can take a concubine, declare several wars. We can imprison some criminals. Let's have a look at our prisoners, actually, because I don't think I've looked for a little while. We've got 9 prisoners. There's not really any that we can ransom. We can ransom you, apparently, for 100 gold. Wow, nice. Who even are you? No idea, but that's a lot of gold, so we'll do that. We can ransom you for a weak hook. I think I'll leave that. I'm guessing most of these are going to be for a weak hook, aren't they? So most of them we'll keep for now. Yeah, we'll keep hold of the other ones that we've got for now. Unless we can negotiate a release with some of them. We'll have a little look. But we'll just take the 100 gold for that one that we can actually get a little bit of wealth for. We may as well make the most of that. Especially considering how much money we did spend out, of course, to create the empire. We have spent a lot of money in the last few episodes, so that's why we built it up, though. But we could do with rebuilding it before we go feudal. I know a lot of you have been saying, come on, go feudal. When are you going to go feudal? When are you going to feudal? Unfortunately, we can't go feudal until the head of our culture, which is the King of Sweden, which I'm surprised it's not us, but until he discovers everything. And I think we only need 1 more innovation until we can do that. So we should be able to go feudal very soon, probably with the next emperor. Let's get these 3 baronies under control then, which should be pretty easy. Who have we got commanding these armies? Can we put some siege leaders in charge of those in a second. Ingolfer is inspecting a ship anchored in one of the harbours of Solano later this week. It would be easy to have my agents drench the rowboat meant to ferry him out in flammable liquid, wait until it's out in the middle of the harbour, launch a flaming arrow, and then just let the water claim him. Set the plan in motion. Only 13% chance it's a success. This is far too unpredictable. Then again, we don't even have to kill him anymore. We can end our scheme now, can't we? Because it doesn't matter. So we'll abandon that scheme. There's no point in us doing it now. That was only before, but now that we've abolished those, it doesn't matter. And our daughter has had a son, Magnus Eriksson. Oh, wow. He is a genius and a giant. Oh, that is awesome. And he's Magnus. I quite like that name. We'll stick with that. I think we'll stick with that. I'm going to make this guy important because he could be awesome in the future. I want to grant him some titles, I think, as well. Can we educate him straight off? Let's send the proposal and do that. And another thing I wanted to look into, actually, was our lifestyle. We've obviously gone with a marshal. I might just... We've got quite a bit to do till we max this out. I'm tempted to move over to stewardship just because we actually do have more stewardship than marshal now. And now that we're not going to be expanding as much, we will still expand, but now that we've got that empire title, we can start focusing on some of these things instead. So I think I might swap over to the stewardship education. We've got 3 titles that can be usurped. Well, let's have a look what these are. We can also create a new kingdom, which is interesting. Ah, because we've... Oh, wow. So Jarl Ale was successful in taking that land, which is awesome. So we can now usurp several of these duchies, which won't cost us too much. We can't usurp that because he's fighting in a war. Wow, we could usurp this duchy down here. We will do that. It's going to give us claims. And we can also do this duchy here, which we will also usurp, just giving us a lot more chance to expand down there. And just to cause a lot of damage, of course, onto the Byzantine Empire, putting them so they're not much of a threat for us, and we can create the kingdom of Epirus, so we will do that as well. Perfect. What else? And we can still, yeah, we can use that duchy, but we can't do it at present. Too many duchies held, I know. Let's have a look into those then. So we've got these new duchies down here, which by right should belong to him, but we do have some vassals down here, so let's have a look. We've got a Greek Orthodox. We could do with probably getting him on side a little bit more. Let's see if we can maybe grant him one of these duchies. Which one? Not that one. Well, neither of those are actually in his lands, though, so we can't... I'm not going to give him either of those. Does anyone actually own these lands down here? Are they owned by Jarl Ale? Yes, they are. We could just give them to Jarl Ale, then. That's going to make him insanely powerful, though, and he already is quite powerful. But there's not much else we can do with them at present. You know what? We'll grant them to him. And then we can... we could give the Kingdom of Serbia to somebody else instead, then, actually. Let's give him that kingdom, as well as those 2 Jarldoms, and he can sort those out for himself. It's going to make him like us a lot more. He's still going to be our vassal, and he's just made himself incredibly powerful, and he also has the Holy Order now because of that land. That's fine. Let's hurry up and take Macva then, making ourselves much powerful. Oh, and someone's already taken this bit of land here, which is perfect. That works amazingly well in our favour. I can't believe that we now literally own everything coming into that Adriatic. I would like to take the rest of Sicily here, and that would be the perfect border here for this area. I'd be very happy with that, and then we can see where to go from there. Maybe we could go more into the Balkans area. I probably would like to. I'd like to get everything south of the river, like I said before. And I don't know about westward yet. Who knows? We'll let the Kingdom of Sardinia do as it does and see how he gets on down there. We have just lost a lot of gold, unfortunately, but we've got a lot of prestige. We can earn gold. We can still do some more raiding before we go feudal. Try and take advantage of that. And as I said, let's put somebody else in charge of this. Sorry, Rasputin. We'll put you in charge of something else. Someone else in charge of this one, sorry, actually, so that we can move ourselves in charge of this one, because it's going to take a little bit longer to siege, so I'd like to have a siege leader in charge. Romance, declaration of love. I'm walking the gardens with some of the lords at court when I notice Volva Margarita, is she still alive, approaching. I step aside to let her pass, but to my great surprise, she blocks my path and kneels before me. Before I have time to properly process this turn of events, Margarita begins to sing. I quickly recognize the tune. It's a famous Norse love ballad. I have heard it performed countless times, but never with such skill and passion. The intense emotions of the song are mirrored in Margarita's gaze, which is set on me. She does not look away for a single heartbeat. She's 64. You flatter me. She'll attempt to win my heart. No, we'll end that. I don't want to be seduced by a cougar. We'll knock that on the head, I think, Stryker. You've already got a wife and concubines. We don't need some old lady. Can we now usurp this? Is he still at war? No, still at war. Still at war at present. I can't believe how quickly he won that war for that Byzantine land. How strong is the Empire still? Still 3,000 men, but they have been weakened massively. And the Arabian Empire is now looking very formidable. I forgot to mention that over 7,000 men. They've took all the Egyptian lands. So they're looking powerful. We're definitely going to come into some conflict, it would seem, with the Arabian Empire at some point. Poland and Lithuania seem to be collapsing in on themselves, which is a shame. The same as most of this, actually, really, to be honest. There's not much great power in the west that we need to worry about at present. Awesome, we've sieged this bit of land. Let's, is there another barony anywhere? There's a tribe over here. We'll march on to that. Oh, no, let's go lift the siege in this tribe, actually, instead. That'd probably make an easier move. Actually, let's attack this army. If we can catch up with them. There we go. We're going to catch them now and finish that off. And then we can move this army onto that tribe. Awesome. Household savings. Gain 70 gold. We've got plenty of gold, but we do need to refill those coffers, as I said. Once this war's out of the way, I'm going to do a lot more concentrating on building the realm up, and we'll let our the vassals are doing lots of wars themselves without us having to really get involved, so we may as well leave them to it. They can expand our lands for us while we save our power. A shameful truth has reached the light of day. My vassal, Duke Tripomir, has had an extramarital affair with his lover, Theophano. How could he defile the sanctuary of his marriage? This crime cannot go unpunished, guards. Yeah, we'll take him prisoner, and then we can ransom him, which gets us a nice amount of 100 gold. Beautiful. Can't complain at that. We can use that other duchy soon as well. We're going to take this land. Everything's going to look nice. We may have to go into Wallachia and Bulgaria soon, just to join the borders, because this looks awful. And there's a little bit of random Byzantine land there as well for some reason, which is annoying as well. We're at 89%. As soon as one more province falls, that should give us the victory. I don't know which one will fall first. And our uncle Ivar has died. I'm guessing it's going to be of old age. Yes, old age at the age of 64. That is unfortunate. We'll unpin him then. His son and heir, who is the new chieftain of his lands, we will pin. We'll keep an eye on him. Perfect. Losing a lot of those original characters. That is obviously one of the sons of the original Asbjorn. Our prisoner has died. Never mind, it's only some random prisoner who was worth very, very little. And our acquaintance Gryla has died. She's not really anyone important. Safeland looks nice. It is looking hench. It's going to look so... I can't believe that we've actually managed to take that land down there. I definitely want to take this bit from the Byzantine Empire. I don't know if we want to go any further south. If our Jarl decides to, then that's up to him. And he's actually moved his capital now, which is interesting, down to here. Which is perfect, because then I can probably get him to move his vassals onto Serbia. That means that Rasputin is probably going to now become the king of Serbia, which is interesting. It's going to get him on side. Works perfectly. And hopefully they'll sort out between them those vassals. Probably through war, but what you're going to do, that's the whole thing of the game, I suppose. I do like to try and sort out these, just to try and keep the vassals all nice, as I've done. Most of them are nice. I don't like it when they're split like this. I need to change this. Astrid gained the pregnant trait, our concubine. Perfect. We've won 2 sieges, and that wins us this war. Let's enforce our demands. Perfect. Makva is now back to being part of the Empire of Safiland. Who is in charge of Makva? High Chieftain Ratomir of Makva. That's fine. We've subjugated him. Works better. I don't really want to unthrone too many people if I can help it, and we still can't usurp this because he's fighting a war. That's fine. Right, so now I'm going to grant the title the Kingdom of Serbia to Rasputin, and hopefully he'll sort this out for himself. Perfect. Your vassal, Duke Alexander, now holds the Kingdom of Serbia. We're going to have to grant the vassal of that High Chieftain of Makva over to him. There we go. It's going to improve his opinion of us massively. He now loves us as well, which is perfect, keeping all of our vassals very, very much on side. And that's looking taster. How is our manpower now? 5,200. So it's not massively, massively impressive, but it's decent. We could go on a raid to try and gain a little bit more gold and prestige. I'm not sure where. We could go over to Iberia. We've not really been there yet, and it would probably be pretty easy pickings, as it is starting to crumble a little bit in on itself. We've got Andalusia, Valencia, and Umayyad, so we could easily go and start plundering those lands. We could call all our men up in, is it Majorca, this one? Or Menorca? Minorca. Yeah, we could call our men up on Minorca and go over. Majorca's the biggest one, isn't it, in the centre? So we could do that. We could do a bit of raiding, earn a little bit more gold. We could do with bringing a little bit of gold home. But then there's also Bulgaria, which is just looking so tempting. What sort of war could we actually go for on this guy? We could invade the kingdom, which we can do once per lifetime. We've got enough prestige to do that. Someone has got some claims. Conquer County, Conquer Duchy. The invade kingdom would probably be the best option, just to completely cut it off. Stop the Byzantine Empire from taking that land. It would be our one war for a kingdom in our lifetime, but it would be a good war if we take all of this. Oh, they've just took... Oh, awesome. They've just managed to take that bit of land as well. Which does make them stronger, but not strong enough. They've not got any allies. Can we... we'd only take one of those kingdoms, though, which is annoying. Which is a shame. But I would take the... Would I take the southern one or the northern one? Southern one's everything south of this river, like we wanted. But we've already got land north of the river anyway. If we take this one, it would join our lands together. At least then this land wouldn't look so out of place. Let's have a look. So if we were to declare war on you, invade kingdom. Moldova. Okay, we wouldn't be able to take all of that land anyway. So I think we'd be better off just taking the kingdom of Bulgaria then, to be honest. Splitting it in half, and then we can go for these ones afterwards. Can you do this once a lifetime? That's fine. Let's declare that war. Let's move our army call-up point to here in the kingdom of Serbia. And we will raise all our men here. We should have more than enough manpower to sort those out. Someone wants to ransom a countess that we've got, which is perfect. And someone betrothed to marry Prince Nikitia of Serbia and our niece Vigdis. Yes, I will accept the proposal. Perfect. Let's call up our men. We should have more than enough manpower. He's got two. Yeah, we've got more than enough manpower to handle Bulgaria, I would think. We'll get our best commanders involved and we'll go straight into that land. We'll try and work our way to the capital. That's going to be our best bet for ending this war a little bit quicker. We've got a daughter here, with a granddaughter with the quick trait, Sif. Yeah, why not? It's a name that we've not had so far. So we can use that. Right, we've got 1,800 men here, led by ourselves. Let's march this to this tribe then. We'll work our way upwards. Or is that a land of Bulgaria? Yes, it is. We'll go for that bit of land first then. Or, no, we will go for this bit of land. We've got 2,000 here, which is still rallying. Still got 2 days left. We'll march onto that tribe. And these 1,900 can march onto that tribe. We'll try and keep everyone close together, south of the river, and we'll start sieging these lands up to the capital. Person of interest to you, Count Ogazhin of Lavulkova, drank himself to death. He was one of the custom characters, weren't he? We'll unpin him. Who is his heir? His heir is his daughter, who's pretty decent, to be fair. Let's pin her. Our uncle Loki's still alive, so some of our uncles are still alive and going strong. Can we usurp this duchy yet? Nope, still at war. Oh wow, and that's a powerful fortress there, which is pretty annoying. It's a good job that we're the ones in control of that then. Unless we can march this one. We'll leave the powerful fortress. We'll go for the easier targets for now. There is that Bulgarian army there. Can we call up the Holy Order? Has anyone hired them at present? Not available. Yeah, they've already been called up. That's fine. We'll just start marching our men eastwards then. And somebody is going to attack us, which is a strange thing to do when we're in the mountains and they've got half the amount of manpower. Who is leading this army? Let's see if we can get our best commander in charge of this. Jarl Augustin. Yeah, we'll go with him because he's unyielding. The unyielding defender in the mountains. He should more than capably hold them off. It shouldn't be too much hassle for him at all. Whoops. And we've had a daughter. Not anything special about her. We'll keep the name Sarah then. Why not? If there's nothing really of interest. And that other army is coming to attack us. So what we'll do is we'll station some besiegers here. And we'll march some reinforcements back north just to ensure that we're well equipped. We should be fine. I don't think we're going to need them, but just in case. Because it is fairly even now, this battle, so we could do with having a couple more men just to reinforce it. And yeah, we're going to win that anyway. Our champion Jarl Asbjorn wounded one of their counts. Don't look like much else happened in that battle, though, to be honest. And we've managed to capture an enemy combatant, which is perfect. Let's merge these armies together then. Let's have a look how that battle went. We lost 412 men. They lost 929. Awesome. Who was our most impressive champion in that battle? It was Jarl Asbjorn of Capua, who killed 137 men. Wow. Now that is impressive, to kill 137 men yourself. Nice. Well played. Very well played. We'll finish this siege before we split this army in half a little bit more. And this is a strong fortress, so we'll move away from that because it's just going to take so long for us to siege. Can we go to this one? Not without losing manpower, so we'll stay where we are for now in all of these. We do need a commander in charge of this. Do we have any... Duke Guy's a siege leader. Let's use Duke Guy the Third. This is going to fall any second now, which is perfect. So we can continue to march eastwards. Just march our way to the capital as quickly as possible, just so that we can get this war over with. Our cousin, Jarl Asbjorn, has died. Oh, what a shame. He was useless. He died of cancer. Oh, that sucks. He did have a daughter eventually, though, Jarl Asta. It was Hale. She's not amazing, but she's not too bad. So that's not the worst, I suppose. It's not too bad. Not sure where the Bulgarian army has gone to after we smashed them, whether they don't have much manpower left. And Serbia's going to war with someone. Who are you at war with? Defending against High Chieftain Ratomir of Makva. Oh, in the war against your tyranny. Well, you've got 1,000 manpower. How much manpower does he have? 300, so you should be able to take care of that, Rasputin. You're going to have to deal with a lot of those things now as a king, unfortunately. And now we'll swap over to stewardship, and we'll go with... My land and people are under my care and strength. I might go with the domain focus. Yeah, let's go with the domain focus. Or should we go for more income? Let's go for more income, actually. Perfect. Let's mess around with the stewardship focus. It's my favourite one to play with on this game so far. And that tribe has fallen. Perfect. So we can now march over here. And we're going to get in a war with this army. And a person of interest has died. Your aunt Aslog has died. Who was she married to? Count Egil of Freyalundra. Okay, so no one really important. I don't really know why we've got her pinned. I've just noticed that a Bulgarian army is now marching westward to us. So I've stationed besiegers in the north, and I'm going to march south to aid with that battle that's probably going to take place very soon. That siege is about to collapse anyway now, so that's fine. But we are undermanned here, so we do need reinforcements. We can't get away with stationing besiegers here, unfortunately, so we are going to have to leave that army there. Just got to hope that we can get there in time to help in that battle. And that siege has been won. Perfect. So let's march those 700 men onto the capital of Bulgaria and just start the siege if we can. It's probably going to be a pretty decent fortress, I would imagine, up in these mountains. They shouldn't even be called the Kingdom of Bulgaria anymore, considering that we own most of Bulgaria. Let's just put you in charge of that. No, let's put Duke Guy in charge of that, as he is a siege leader. And yeah, they're probably going to win that battle unless our reinforcements can get there in time, which they are going to. Hopefully they can get there in time to make a difference. Oh, I don't know. Will they get there in time? It's going to be hard. Our champion Duke Guy wounded somebody. Okay, yeah, it looks like we are going to be able to push them back. It's going to be tight. It's going to be very tight. We could really do with a little bit more manpower. This is going to be insanely tight. One of the closest battles we've ever had, but it looks like we are now swaying it in our favour. Led by Rasputin. Well played, King Rasputin of Serbia. Perfect. And we've managed to capture some valuable hostages as well. Can we ransom these off then? Got a count, 50 gold, awesome. And we have... Who are you? You belong to a count, so 50 gold for you as well, perfect. Can merge these armies together. Let's... Oh, additional taxes, 125 gold, 2 ransoms. So we've just gained ourselves way over 200 gold there, which is perfect. So glad that we actually managed to sway that in our favour. Let's move these 800 men to the capital of Bulgaria as well then, just to reinforce it a little bit more. And we'll also station besiegers here and march the main host to Bulgaria as well. Get a huge, huge force at the capital to get that under our control, because the Bulgarian host probably will attack them if we don't. And perfect, the capital has fallen. We've managed to take some very valuable hostages who we can ransom off. Let's ransom them off and get some decent amount of gold for them. Wow, 50 out of 200. We'll keep hold of you then. Get 50 for you. Let's see what we can get for these. Enforced demands. Perfect. So there we go. Sapphireland has spread out perfectly over to the Black Sea now. So we actually have some coastland in the Black Sea, which is going to hopefully come in massive use to us, as we have now got all of this land that we could sail into and raid, all of the northern Byzantine. I definitely do want to go for Constantinople again at some point, as we obviously failed with our chance last time. Tartars can be usurped, the Kingdom of Bulgaria, and the Duchy oh wow, that's a huge duchy. Yes, we will usurp that, and we can create a duchy over here as well, which we will do. Create. And we can create the Jarl. Wow, another one that we can... No, we've done that. We can usurp... Which duchy is this that we can usurp now? We obviously do hold too many duchies now, which we need to sort out. We need to transfer this vassal over to the Duke of Bulgaria. Perfect. We do need to sort out some of those that we will do. So let's have a little look at what we've got here now then. So, who are our vassals out here? Well, obviously, we've got the Jarldom of Bulgaria. What's the Kingdom of Bulgaria then? How big? Wow, it's actually all of that land. I'm not giving him all of that land. That is a lot of land. I don't really want to give that away. So instead, we'll give away the duchies. Let's have a look. Who have we actually got in these lands? So we do have a count here. We've got a count here. We've got a count here. We could give some of these the duchies just to keep them on side, to be honest. This guy doesn't look too bad. Let's grant title. He can have that duchy over here, which is part of his land. Yep, so we'll grant him that duchy. Hopefully, we'll increase his opinion of us. We've got you. We've got this huge duchy here, haven't we, that we could give away. We could probably give that away to one of our own. Then again, they're only going to get usurped, aren't they? Let's have a look at you. What's good? You're decent at stewardship. What about your friend here? He's decent at stewardship as well. He's a thrifty clerk. What were you? You was a thrifty clerk as well. You've got really bad intrigue though. You're trusting and such. So let's give it to you instead then. The Jarldom of... No, hang on. The Jarldom of here, yes. And you can have all of these lands as well, which should improve your opinion of us massively. Yes, he likes us plus 100 now, because we've just made him incredibly powerful. I wonder if we could get away with getting him to convert, but I don't know yet. I don't know yet. At least that gets us under that duchy problem that we've got, and we'll grant you that other duchy that does belong to you now. This Jarldom here, you can have that in your lands. Perfect. Look at that. Look at all those kings and such that we now have in our land. Sapphireland is looking impressive. Is this actually a different king that we have here? No, it's not. It is the same king. I was going to say, can we go to war with him and start taking his lands? But no, we can't. Not yet. But once we take this, at least it'll make our lands look a little bit nicer, and we can probably expand a little bit more north than we originally intended. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see what you guys want to see us do. But we will end this episode here. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, guys, I hope that you've enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and comment down below if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you all very soon for the next episode.